Welcome everyone to another episode in the Perspective Drawing series. In this one we will take a look at how to divide ellipses and apply what we learned to create a final drawing. In the previous episode we had taken a look at how to construct ellipses using squares, and towards the end of that video I had divided an ellipse into 5 sections to create a drawing of a tyre. I want to start this off by showing you some more methods that will allow you to divide ellipses in perspective. As usual, I'm going to start by showing this in a flat view and divide some circles, and then soon I will do the same to an ellipse in perspective. Remember, an ellipse is simply a circle in perspective, so here I have drawn out 5 circles. I'm going to divide this first one into 3 sections, this one into 6, this into 12, then 5 and finally 10. The reason I'm showing you this is because you'll often find yourself tasked with drawing wheels for vehicles, and well, you can't really have wheels without spokes. So to do this I will be using this compass, and I'm going to work my way through these. To divide this circle into 3 sections, I'm going to divide it into 6 and then simply remove 3. So I'll be repeating this when it comes to the others as well. The total length of a circumference, the outside of this circle, is 6 times the length of its radius. This means that I can set my compass to the length of the radius, which is from the centre of the circle to the outside, and then I can choose any point on this circumference and work my way around dividing this up. I can then bring some lines from each of these back to the centre. Here I have divided this into 6, but I only wanted 3 sections, so all I have to do is remove 3 of these lines. Now this next circle is actually going to be divided into 6 sections, so I repeat what I had just shown you. For the circle that is going to be divided into 12 sections, I place my compass where these halfway lines cross the circumference and draw in some arcs that are at the same length as the radius of the circle. From these newly created points, I can then bring some lines to the centre. I have now divided this into 12 sections. Moving downwards, I'm going to divide this next one up into 5 sections. To do this, I find the halfway point for the radius on that horizontal diameter, and I set my compass from that point to the top of that vertical diameter. I then draw an arc downwards until it crosses the horizontal diameter, creating a new point. Then, using that top point as the centre, I set my compass to the new point we had just made, and I draw another arc outwards until it meets the circumference. The distance between these two is 1/5 of the circumference, so now I can work around it and divide this up. Here I want to divide this last one up into 10, and so I repeat what I had just done, dividing this into 5. Once I have this divided into 5 sections, it's easy to extend these lines at either side to divide this further into 10. So now let's divide up an ellipse in perspective. I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing this that are slightly different, although each of these examples involves a flat view, so a divided circle that is then drawn in perspective. We will be projecting the coordinates of the dividing points. So first of all, this is a flat view of what I'm going to draw in perspective. A circle is divided into 6 sections using what we had just looked at, and to make this more interesting, I'm going to rotate this round. Now I'm going to be drawing this at the exact same scale in perspective, so what I need to do is transfer these points to the sides of the square. I do this by taking a horizontal and vertical line from each of them and marking those points on either side. Now I am ready to draw this in perspective. So I'll keep that drawing that we had just made on screen, but I'll scale it down and put it in the corner to use as reference. Although as I do this, I do have it at its original size in front of me. So I'm going to begin by drawing out a horizon line and placing a vanishing point to the left. Now I know that the front edge of my square that I'm drawing is going to be the same size as it was on the flat view, so I'll start by drawing that in. We are drawing this square in perspective here, so I'm going to take some lines from that vertical line to the right vanishing point. Now I'm going to eyeball the depth of the square, which is converging in perspective. This is something that will get easier with practice. Once you have a square which looks right, you are able to divide this up and draw in an ellipse. Now, in a previous episode I had shown you how to divide lines accurately in perspective, and that's what I'm going to do here. I add a straight line at the bottom of this vertical line at the same length as the sides of the square. Now at this point I have two sides which are identical to the square in the flat view, and I can also mark in the same points that I had just projected across to the sides of the square. Once I have those, I can start to bring them across to the square in perspective. I use that dividing technique which allows me to bring those points across in perspective. I then extend these lines along with some lines which head from the front edge of the square to the right vanishing point. Now all I have to do is define those projected points which cross the ellipse's circumference. These are the end points for the spokes. I can then take some lines from these to the centre, which completes this example. So this was a method of projection that we are likely going to come back to sometime in the future, and now I will show you another means of doing this. I'm going to draw the same ellipse divided into 6 sections and slightly rotated. To begin, I establish the horizon line and decide where to place my vanishing points. I then construct a square in perspective, divide it up and draw in my ellipse. Now I need to figure out where to draw in these spokes. I'm going to take the vertical height of the ellipse and extend some lines to the side. Here I will draw the flat view, dividing this up as before and then rotating it a little as well. Now from each of those points at the end of the spokes on the circle's circumference, I will bring some horizontal lines over to the edge of the square in perspective. I then draw some lines from these points to that vanishing point. So I am transferring those points across to this ellipse in perspective again. There is, however, that one dividing line that is more vertical on a slight angle. I need to find these points on the top and bottom of the square to draw this in. So here I do that same dividing technique to find it on the ellipse in perspective. I draw a horizontal line at the same length as the flat view and mark on those points in the right place. I then bring this across to the ellipse and I can then draw this in as well. So that's another way to go about it, and it's up to you to decide what will work best given the situation. To conclude this episode, I'm going to apply what we had just looked at and create a final drawing. I'm going to start with the horizon line. Here the vanishing points are off the page. I draw a square using the right vanishing point and draw in the ellipse. Now I'm going to use the technique that we had just looked at to divide this into 12 sections. I project some horizontal lines across and create a flat view of this circle in the square. Now I'm going to divide this up into 12 using the technique that we had looked at the start of this video. Once I have those points marked out, I take some more horizontal lines from each of these until they meet the back edge of the square that is in perspective here. From here I can now divide up this square, drawing some lines from the points in perspective and marking where they meet the circumference of the ellipse. I then draw some lines from these points to the centre of the ellipse. Now this is going to be one wheel, and I also need to draw in the other, which is going to be opposite. These are both identical. I use the left vanishing point to extend some lines from the square around the first wheel, and I draw a box in perspective. The other side of this box will be the square which we will divide up and use to draw the ellipse. I'm not going to divide this one up though, because you'll see as we progress with the drawing that it's not visible. The reason I have drawn it in is to get an idea of the width of this next section that I'm going to draw, and this section will be a box on an incline that will sit between these two wheels. So here I start to construct the side plane for the box, and I have previously made a video on inclined planes, so if you have seen that then you will know that the inclined lines converge to a vanishing point on a vertical line. Again, this is off the page in this example, but I am still able to use the left vanishing point when constructing this box. There is also some space between this box and the ellipses I had drawn. Now that I have this box sitting between these two wheels, I'm going to extend some more lines from this which will be on the same incline. These will be handles for what is going to be a wooden cart. I start to add some further details, creating some edges around the box and drawing in some squares on top of the box, which will later allow me to draw in some ellipses on an incline as well. So now I have this underlying construction in perspective, and I start to work into this freehand, adding some detail. I offset another ellipse for the wheel and add an ellipse in the centre for the spokes. I then start to work on the sides of the box, adding some wooden planks and working over some of these construction lines. I add some ellipses on top of the box that are on an incline. These will be the top of some barrels which are sat in this cart. Finally, I begin to render this drawing, adding the necessary details and textures until I have a result that I am happy with. So this has been another episode on ellipses. You'll start to see me draw many objects which involve ellipses now, and throughout this series as we progress with each episode, the example drawings I create will require an underlying knowledge of a lot of the different techniques that we have covered as we go. I hope you found this one helpful. If you did, then please leave a like, and if you'd like to see more then be sure to subscribe with the notifications on. Also be sure to check out the Patreon page if you want to see more. I create these study documents which are essentially tutorials on paper, along with some other exclusive content that you should find useful. With that being said, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.